Hi, I'm Jocelyn Harvey, founder of Transform Within. In this video, we're going to discuss the impact of not being allowed to be adventurous, when you're growing up. Now, I'd like to start by just telling a little story. A few years ago, we were staying at a coastal motel that had 2 levels, and it was a third of the way up a steep hill with nice views out to the ocean. Now, because of the slope of the hill, at one end of the motel and car park, it had an almost vertical interlaced paver retaining wall, and it was about 2 meters high. Now, one day when we returned to the motel, I noticed a young girl was starting to climb up the retaining wall. Being a climber myself, I was quite interested to watch her progress. Now, I must confess that I did have the thought that I hope she didn't fall because it was concrete below. Now, when the young girl got to the top, she stood up on the small section of grass, and I could tell she was feeling proud of herself, and wanting to share it, she called out to her mum, "Mum, Mum!" Her mother was getting some younger children and belongings out of the car, and she replied, "What are you doing up there? Get down from there and come inside." And she just continued doing what she was doing. And the little girl's face, said it all. She was crestfallen and her joy was just shattered. I said to her, "You're very clever for climbing up there. It's really high. You did really well." She was marginally consoled, but started climbing down. And I then said, "Take your time coming down." And I really felt for that little girl. She'd pushed her comfort zone, she'd done something adventurous, was feeling proud of herself, and pretty much received a verbal slap. So, what's the real message you think she heard? Of course there are a number of possibilities, but for example, I always have to do as I'm told. I'm only lovable when I live by my parents' rules. My younger siblings are more important than me. I have to do as I'm told if I want to belong. It's not okay to try new things without permission. There's no reward in standing out. And maybe her subconscious mind was programmed with some other limiting belief. For the sole purpose of just provoking thought and contemplation. Let's assume that the little girl lives in a fairly strict environment, is expected to do as she's told, and not encouraged when she tries new things. How do you think that impacts her behaviour at school, later at work, and around anyone in a position of authority? Maybe she acts out and resists, maybe she disengages, or maybe she anxiously tries to do everything right. In any case, she's not going to feel confident and self-assured and trust her own decisions. And she's more likely to have an external focus, being worried about what others think or believing that the world happens to her, rather than be living from a place of internal empowerment. So if you're someone who suffers anxiety and panic, reflect on your childhood and the messages you received. Were you encouraged and allowed to be yourself? Try new things, break the rules occasionally. Because let's face it, sometimes you need the inner rebel to stand up for yourself or for what's right, to have healthy boundaries, or come up with an out of left field brilliant solution that's going to go completely against the grain or, of current thinking. So let your inner rebel shine a little bit. Until next time, please be kind and gentle with yourself and be your own brightest cheerleader. Infinite love and gratitude.